All right. I think we are good to go. We are live. Let's see. Can you hear me? I think you can hear me. Cool. So, this is my second time doing this, but looks like I um all the streaming keys and stuff, they just stay. They stay the same. So, I just had to hit the button and it connected to my OBS right away. So, we're back. We're back. Welcome. Again, I'm streaming kind of to talk about topics in the vein of my more recent videos about more local politics and governance. And I thought today we could spend some time talking about like who represents me, like just finding out how do we find out who represents me at a local like city council kind of level. And if I feel like we stumble upon something that makes sense to stumble upon a connection to like more federal or like higher level state officials, then we can get into that as well. But I think it's really important just to know like who is like on your state council, your board of education, like how do we find that out and why do we care and all that. But yeah, so here's my kind of like outline for what I wanted to talk about. First thing I wanted to talk about was verification and authentic. Like when I say verification, like I'm talking about when you go on the internet and you know read something from somewhere. How do you know whether or not it's true? Like did it actually happen? So the way that um, you know I think about it is like historically what was that like, right? I know that when I like was studying um, religion in the past, especially Christianity and Judaism, there was this not everyone could read back then. Not everyone could read. So there was this kind of um like mystical vibe to anything that was put on paper, written. So obviously, throughout a lot of human history, the only people that could read and write were the more educated, wealthy classes, right? So that in and of itself gave authority, right, to maybe authenticity, and I'm gonna add authority because like these are all kind of similar, right? Gave authority to text. But then if you couldn't read, right, you'd have to rely on whoever's reading and relaying that text to you. So the people that knew how to read and were in positions to tell people what it said, like that's another level of like, oh, okay, if you trust that person, then you can feel like it's verified. You feel like it's actually true. Not only is it, fact that whatever they're saying is actually written on that piece of paper, but um, like the actual intention behind that writing. So when it comes to today, right, anyone can just write whatever on the internet. Um, you know, so sometimes when it comes to news and stuff, we rely on brands, just like the reputation of the newspaper that's putting it out. So people are like, "Oh, no way, the New York Times would put this out if it wasn't actually true." Or insert whatever news site, right? So it's just like as I like, scroll through the internet, looking up Wikipedia pages, and obviously I'll scroll down to the sources and see if the source looks reliable. Like everyone has their own threshold, right, for what is authoritative to them, right? Um, actually, uh, I don't know if this relates completely, but um, there's been there's been a few memes I've been seeing on X, Twitter, um, or like, yeah, I'm not sure if they're memes, but basically, it's like this. You know what? I can just show you the image because that's what I'm here for, man. So it's just like a a power cord plugged into itself. So if I type that in, look at the image, right? Yeah. So stuff like this, man. I see this on Twitter or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is the Bible saying the Bible is true," right? Um, the reason I'm saying this is like that. You're right. This isn't going to create any power, and the Bible saying referred to itself to prove why it's actually true, or the stories and statements in there are true. Like that doesn't do anything for anyone who with a logical mind. You have to find the authority in documents such as the Bible, um, elsewhere, outside of it. This power cord needs something else to actually do anything. So like this, it's a closed system, and sometimes you can think of the Bible is in a kind of a closed system, um, but luckily there's a ton around it historically that can be used to power up its authority. I guess is a ooh I kind of like that, power up its authority. Like gets this much authority when you find this one other Greek document that refers to it. Gets more authority when you realize that Judaism has a lot of uh, historicity, the writings of Judaism. Like boom, 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 we power up, and then every person will have their own threshold, right? Of oh, okay, like I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt at this point. Like I'm gonna trust it at this point. It really is like an exercise of trust. Oh shoot, I see. I suck at this, man. I didn't even show you the image. Okay, so here is the search that I did. Uh, yeah, see, this is why I need some people to actually watch me so they can alert me. But I can't even see the chat. So, man, I am a noob. And also, I don't know. It's giving me a bitrate warning, so I'm not sure if you can even, if I'm even giving you live live production. Wait, even give. Yeah. Okay. So sorry if you missed that, but I hope I described it well enough. But here, this is the image I was talking about, right? So basically, uh, this is a closed system. No power is going to be generated by doing this. And similarly, the Bible can't claim its own authority based on itself. Um, all right, so that was the first. So yeah, when we scroll through the internet and like look at things, like I understand that everyone's um, threshold for authority and verification is different, and that's a bigger conversation in our American culture and society. Just it's gotten to be so high, I guess, which or low or high, depending on how you want to look at it, where people will believe anything they see on the internet, versus people that will ride or die with a certain brand or news person or influencer even at this point, right? Um, yeah, it's a mess currently. So that's kind of like why during the streams I just want to like show you. I don't want to like preach or anything and say, hey, this is how the government works. Like you can see this is how the government claims it's trying to work. As we like look through the websites explaining laws and explaining representation. Cool. All right. Anything in the chat? Nope. We are good. Um, yo, 1 second. I'm gonna share this. Who represents me? Copy video link. 1 sec, 1 sec, 1 sec. Okay. And I'm going to also send it to another group. All right. All right. So make sure that you guys can see my browser. Awesome. So who represents me? So let's see. If I go to DuckDuckGo and then I search for, let's see, districts in Columbus, Ohio. See, like, oh man, I'm kind of rusty. I don't even remember the hierarchy of government. So we got residential districts, neighborhoods in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm currently living in a city, like a city next to Columbus, a suburb kind of city called Reynoldsburg. So if I go to Reynoldsburg City Council, what am I gonna get? City Council. And let's see. Wow, this isn't a bad looking website. All right, so we have meetings. Okay, so let's go to the homepage here. What is this? Reynoldsburg.gov. And then we want to see, yeah, government. Okay, so yeah, city council, and then these are other roles. Are these elected roles? Office of the mayor. So we have our own mayor. So who is our mayor? Um, yo, why is this header not? It's taking up so much space. Um, yeah, that's annoying. So it looks like our mayor is Joe Begeny, and the administrative assistant is Jessica Rosenthal. All right. So Joe Begeny, I just want to see if I can see when he was elected. Reynoldsburg mayor. Has spent the past 16 years in public service. Mayoral. There's this one. See, look. There's this one. Okay, he officially took office in 2020 on a 4-year term. So it looks like mayors have a 4-year term. He's been a public school teacher, and he eventually made it to the city school board of Reynoldsburg. Nice. Joe, man, how do you pronounce his last name? Cool. All right. So I know there's a website that like keeps track of all elections. So Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 2020 election results. Mayor. Yeah. No. This. Oh yeah. Ballotpedia. I always go onto Ballotpedia to like figure out what's going on with local election. What's on a ballot for local election, whether it's referendums or actual elections. So what happened here, yo? Federal Senate, state officials, ballot measures, local recalls. Dang it, they don't have it here? Yeah, I mean, maybe they don't. Oh no, this is 2025. Yeah, I kind of like using an outside source. Why is that though? So if I go to the Ohio SOS, will this also show me anything? Results by county. Okay. Summary level official results. Primary election. No, we don't care about primaries. We care about. Why is everything divided by party? Wait, I just want to know the results of official general election. Yeah, this is not what I want. So let's stick to Ballotpedia and see if we can get to the 2020 elections. Reynoldsburg, Ohio. State officials. Where is it? This is why we're working through this. So that was the 2025 elections. Election results 2020 election results. Yeah, see, it's hard. I can't even find out. Franklin County Board. Okay, we're in Franklin County, right? Reynoldsburg. I just moved to Reynoldsburg, so it's a suburb that I, obviously I should confidently know what county I'm in, but yeah. So we're in Franklin County, 2020 official election results, official results for 2020 primary, results by county, by party. So what? Oh my gosh, it's a spreadsheet. Holy crap. See, this is just. See, I'm gonna have to target. You guys can't see the spreadsheet, huh? Nope. These are results by county for the general election. So the federal stuff. Local issue results. All right, let's try another search. Reynoldsburg mayoral election 2020. Come on, give me something. Okay, well, let's see Columbus Dispatch again. They have my threshold for authority, and it does give us the numbers. Nice. So, Bejany, I wonder how. Do they say how to pronounce his name? Won the mayoral race November 5th, beating Republican challenger Barth. Sorry, no, that shouldn't be fun. Yep, his name was Barth, which is short for Bartholomew, right? Okay, Bartholomew is a way cooler name than. You shouldn't shorten your name to Barth, man. Like, come on. So 4,000 for Begeny. I'm gonna look this up. Pronounce surname Begeny. Okay. Begeny. How to pronounce? Two pronunciations. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to hear this, but it gives me
Begeny.
Okay.
Begeny.
And then there's a
Begeny.
Begeny. Okay, so it's definitely a hard G. Cool. So we got Begeny beaten out. You guys can see this, right? I always got to check my stream to make sure you actually can see this. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So Begeny beat out Barth Cotner by 4 points. Okay, cool. We found it through the Columbus Dispatch, but that's still a layer of abstraction away from the government reporting on itself. Okay, so our campaigns. What the heck is this website? See, like, I'm not going to trust a 1990s banner style kind of website. What else we got? I trust Ballotpedia. Why doesn't it have it? Okay, who cares? So my mayor currently is Begeny. All right, cool. So I'm going to now look at this website and see. Okay, so actually, I want to bring up a kind of like an anecdotal reason why like this kind of like I was thinking about this today, about municipal city like politics. So yeah, actually, before I transition, who represents me? Yeah, this kind of relates to the next topic. So I'm kind of like jumping ahead when it comes to that agenda that I showed you. Remember this? So the third part I wanted to talk about was municipal positions. So municipal is just a fancy word for city, I believe. So let's see, municipal. See, we're learning together here, man. Municipal. Define municipal. Of or relating to a municipality. So a municipality is a city, right? Basically a town or a city. Yeah, so it's a wider word. It can refer to, yeah, like a town or a city. I know village is still used. Incorporated or for self-government. Okay, cool. So, and I forgot again to move you up. Move you up so you can actually see what I'm looking at. So a municipality is a political unit such as a city, town, or village. Isn't that like political? You say political, people go like, "Oh, alert, alert!" But it's a pretty agnostic, apolitical term. You see, isn't that funny? Political is an apolitical term, right? Because when you say politics, you're talking about lines on a map, like who, that's it's a at a certain point in time, it's objective what those lines. Well, okay, it's objective for Ohio what the district lines are. It's not objective for what the lines of nation states are around the world. Definitely not, right? Um, and oh my gosh, yo, see, like, there's so much going on here because it's not objective for Ohio. Like, there's still peoples that can claim that those lines aren't real. Like, it's all made up in a sense by us. By this agreement we have, this social contract that we all have in this part of the world, in the United States and specifically in Ohio. Like, we've agreed to obey this law and this government that says these are the lines, right? But there are other people that could just say no, that's not. See, it is, yeah, I mean, that's why everything is political. So yeah, you're right. A political unit. So political isn't apolitical in this term, right? Political, claiming that a city and a boundary is can be named something and mean this unit of land. Like, you're saying that other people might claim like, no, that's not that land. I don't know. That's a little bit too abstract and complicated, and it's maybe so abstract it's not even useful to like go down that theoretical route. Like, it's fun for your brain to like think about that, and I had that whole phase where, like, well, I don't even want to call it a phase. Like, it's yeah, that's super disrespectful to say it's just some passing phase, but yeah, these boundaries that we define as humans, like, first of all, like, why do we have this like need? And maybe it's not even uh, actual nature versus nurture need. It's not in our nature to want that boundary, but maybe it is. But the thing is, it's definitely nurtured into us throughout our growing up. Like, this is mine, this is yours. This land is called that. This land, you have authority over this land. This person has authority over this land. The government, it's yeah, like, those concepts are nurtured definitely because there's other cultures throughout history where that same kind of like definition of ownership isn't the same, um but yeah, that was kind of funny. So political, the word itself, those one two three 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 letters in the English language, that makes up a political term. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so the reason again, wow, so many sidetracks, but that's kind of how I wanted to go. I'm having fun doing this. The reason that municipal politics came to my mind today was because I have this friend who runs a kayak rental business, and he and his wife, own this business, and they rent out kayaks and put people out people can reserve them to go out on, rivers around the city. And he, has run, wow, so biased. It's not just him, but, obviously, I have a closer, anyway, they run this business, and they had to change locations because the part of the like river that they usually used in the past years to um, you know embark just or yeah embark the like where they put the kayaks into the water to start the route or route. um, they didn't have access to that anymore. I think it was because of construction or something like for that road, something like that. So they had to find a new location, a new river to run their business, right? And in this process, I haven't, I don't know the exact details, but they had to talk to people of different suburbs around Columbus, like on like where can we do this legally, like figure out permits, stuff like that. And they ended up finding another place, but that's the reason I was thinking about this, because like at the end of the day, right, if it is a permit based like process, like whoever's going to stamp their approval right on that permit, was that person elected? Like, did we choose them? What if that person has a kayak business too, or something that uses the river, or something like like would that be a conflict of interest? That person might say, "Oh, this competing kayak business is trying to do something. I'm gonna disapprove their permit because I want to benefit my own economic gain, right? Like, so what's going on there, right? That's what kind of why it was brought up to mind for me. So when I look, if we go back to Reynoldsburg and we go to city council, we can see the members, right? Okay, yep, we got some. All right, I, that's a huge picture for a website. So there's not even a list. Okay, we have Jeanette, Julie, Lewis, Buon, Aaron. Yo, this city council's diverse. Let's go, Stacy, Baker, Barth. Oh, Barth. Barth was the guy who lost the mayoral election. So he doesn't. Does he not have a picture, or is it just not loading? Man, I really want to see what Barth looks like. Um, Mildred. All right. And then we have committees. Okay, see, so my guess is my friend had to probably talk to one of these committees for the cities that he was trying to figure out. Yo, I keep saying he as if it's just my friend. No, it's my friend and his wife. They have this. They run the business together. So um, they probably had to talk to one of these committees to get approval. So like Parks and Rec, right? They're probably gonna put out their kayaks in kind of some kind of like parkland, um, like some kind of like land that is public, right? So yeah, cool. So we know who is in charge of that for this suburban city. That's cool. So departments. So you probably can find the Parks and Rec department, right? Yep. Donna Bauman. Was it? Oh, Bauman's not listed here. Okay, so she's director of Parks and Rec, but she's not necessarily on the city council. Okay, so they have their own person for directing the Parks and Rec. There's activities, facility rentals, awards, and mission statement. Okay, I mean I'm not even sure if you need a permit for that, but like you still have to talk to someone, right? Yeah, I gotta. I'm curious. I'm gonna relay that what happened with them, the process they went through, because I feel like that'd be really interesting in the context in this context about like thinking about municipal politics. So, but at least for me, it's kind of cool to see this. And this website, except for this giant header that doesn't get out of the way, this website looks pretty functional. Government websites by Civic Plus. Proceed to site. So Civic Plus is probably some kind of company that builds websites. They build websites for local governments. Cool. Yep, just feels like a normal WordPress or Squarespace website themselves. They probably just run out Squarespace websites to governments. That's cool though. Okay. Yeah, that's a niche market that I've never thought about. Website design for local governments. Cool. All right. So I want to learn more about my city council. Cool. So they have council rules. It's a PDF. So someone wrote these up at some point. Revised 2018. What are their powers? Powers. I like that. It just straight up says powers. I've never seen that in a document like this. I haven't read a lot of documents like this, so maybe it is a thing. No provision or section of these rules which conflicts with or restricts those rights provided by the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Ohio, and the City of Reynoldsburg Charter, or the Revised Code of Ohio. And we went over that in my last stream. That's just like all the laws, Revised Code, like Hammurabi's Code, right? I guess we call that a list or the whole like body of laws, the code. I don't know why we have to say revised code. Like, why revised? Why can't we just say the Code of Ohio? Shall have any force or effect. Yep. So that, this is just a catch-all. Anything that they do that violates those isn't actually something they can do. Cool. Section, is this a table of contents? Section 2? No. Section 1, Section 2. Yeah, this is the table of contents. Then we go to Section 1. Okay, yeah. I need to research this offline so that I can like talk about it on a stream. See, I'm getting better at this. We're not gonna just be completely just poking around everywhere. So let's see. We've been running for 30 minutes. That's about how long I wanted to stream for. So let's start wrapping up here. What else do we got from the city council? No, I wanted to talk about the Board of Education too. So what happens with education? Columbus Board, does the Columbus Board of Education? No, Reynoldsburg has its own school system for sure. All the suburbs do. That's why people move around to different suburbs that I know of to get their kids into a preferred public school district. Okay, so boards and commissions, city council, agendas and meetings. Where is the Board of Education for Reynoldsburg? Development Department. Okay, so yeah, let's start off with Google, DuckDuckGo. Reynoldsburg Board of Education. Reynoldsburg School District. Okay, so there is a Reynoldsburg Board of Education. Failed levy. Man, yeah, grill me for my pronunciations, please, because it's funny. Okay. So why couldn't I find it on the Reynoldsburg website? School board. Reynolds School board. Let's see if that gets me somewhere. Rain. What is rain? members that has previously served on the city. All right, I'm gonna click and see if it takes me. Okay, RAND.org. That's their website. Interesting. Okay, at least they got it. I guess it's something unique-ish. Um, okay, school board of education. So we can find the board of education. It's on a separate website from the government website. Oh, does this not work? Nope, just redirected to the home. Who is who? Got staff. Got about us. Who is on our board of education? Leadership and training. Okay, see, this is, yeah, I mean, okay. Oh wait, no, this is the Board of Education site. So board members. Okay. Nope. They got the website's working. The website is working. Angela Abram is the president. Jenny Quessenberry, Kendra McKay, Neil Whitman, Mandy Young. Not as diverse as the city council, but that's all right. Went to BU. 25-year resident of Reynoldsburg. Man, that's so cool. Like living like 20 plus years in your own, community, and then becoming the president of the Board of Education. That's awesome. Okay, so we found our board. I wish it was connected or more easily, available or findable from here. But maybe I missed it because I'm just scrolling around so fast, right? Yeah, if we go into the community tab, do we see anything? Man, Reynoldsburg, really? This is, I mean, I should compare it to some other suburbs I know around Ohio that, but like this is, I'm impressed. Maybe I just have the bar so low, for government stuff. But yeah. So anyway, we found our Board of Education. What does the Board of Education do? Right? They set policies. They choose textbooks? Of course, they choose the textbooks. That's probably one of the biggest things they do. Sports funding for sports, probably. Deciding what food lands in the schools. Yeah, I mean they do a lot of stuff, right? I'm gonna do another stream just on school districts, or another video, just like what is a school district, what defines a school district. I'm sure there's school districts that don't do everything. Maybe they'll rely on the state to do something. I don't know. And but yeah, cool. So thank you so much for joining in on this stream. We got through my whole agenda. That's good. And we talked through it, and I hope wherever you are, you can, feel inspired to do the same thing. At least just put a face to people on your city council, on the Board of Education of the people that run the schools and curriculum and all that for your kids. It's just personalize it for yourself, and that's the first step to wanting to be more engaged with it and feeling empowered. I think I already feel more empowered. I like just knowing that the president of the Board of Education in the area I'm living in, right? Like putting a face to it and knowing that that person lived here for 25 years, like that's authority right there for like trust. It gives me trust in that person, right? It's not like, some politician that just randomly transplants into the area, and because they have a lot of money donated to local businesses to advertise for them when they were campaigning, like that stuff probably happens all the time. So yeah. So thanks for joining the stream, and I really hope to keep on doing this more consistently, so that yeah, we can build a community around this. Like all start to feel more empowered and like figuring out the laws that govern us, and um, the people that represent us, and how that just relates to our life, and not just let it all happen around us, and be blind to it, ignorant to it, um, and feel like we don't have any power, as that Reynoldsburg City Charter, or whatever, the city council, um, uh, constitute, whatever you want to call it. It said powers. First thing is, what power does this group of people have? So yeah, what power do we have? What power do I have sitting in my basement right now, streaming about my suburbs city council? Talking about it. I, uh, we're gonna find out together. So thanks for joining.